Hi, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here this morning with you. I'm Kristen Darcy. I'm a high conflict narcissistic divorce coach. I've been working with women and families going through a high conflict divorce for probably 10 years now. And the reason why I wanted to schedule this group coaching, and I've been hearing from some peeps privately that this time wasn't the best for them, but they're going to watch the replay. But the reason why I wanted to do a follow up to the Divorcing Intact event is because what I've learned personally that after, you have time to process some new information, it might feel unsettling or overwhelming. So over the course of this about 30 minutes, I wanted to really give you some tips and strategies um, that you can include in your toolbox of emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual self-care, self-nurturing during this time. If you attended the Divorcing Intact one day event, then or you watched the event afterwards through the link, you heard Lisa Johnson, who is the author of Been There, Got Out, really highlight 5 ways you could tell that you are having or experiencing a high conflict divorce. And probably if you opted into this complimentary group, you know that. But I just wanted to go over them again. I actually went back and re-listened to our time together, and it was really so helpful and profound. And if you want to, you could go back and also listen to that with the links from the Divorcing Intact one day live event. So she was really concise when she said, your divorce could be or is a high conflict divorce if your ex is an active addict, your ex has mental health issues, your ex is hiding marital assets, your ex is abusive, or your ex displays anger that does not subside. That was pretty amazing how Lisa boiled it down to those 5 things. And afterwards, when I was re-listening, it doesn't it all goes into the same kind of broken systemic, high conflict court system. They're not equipped to handle all of that and be aware of the post traumatic, the post separation continuous abuse, regardless of what one of the 5 you might find yourself in. So, what I really would like to talk about today is, you know, how do you recognize your trigger to one of your interactions with your high conflict narcissistic ex? Fight or flight shows up in many ways in many parts of your system. And, I'm really curious if you flight, you fight, you freeze, or you fawn. I love the 4 ways of breaking those down. And I want to read something to you that I was just actually taking a course and about trauma responses. And these the responses were broken down to how you might be responding and showing up within this ongoing abuse or trauma. So trauma responses might look like, if you're in flight, a workaholic, an overthinker, anxiety, panic, or OCD, difficult sitting still, and perfectionism. So I wonder, I asked everybody to bring a pen and paper to write that down. Like, when I'm saying these to you, just say, oh yeah, that might resonate with me. That might be who, you know, um, what I do when I'm triggered. I know for me, when I received way back when we were in the middle of this, embattlement, when a communication or text or whatever would come in, I would go into fight or flight, freeze or fawn. And it was interesting for me to be able to develop the boundaries that I needed around that. So those were, if you have a momentary flight, you could be a workaholic, overthinking, anxiety, panic, OCD, difficult sitting still, and perfectionism. If you fight, it would be anger, outbursts, controlling, the bully. This is kind of maybe mirroring the narcissistic explosive behavior back. If you freeze, you might be having difficult making decisions. You could be stuck, disassociating, isolating, and numbing. Or for fun, you could try to people please your way out of this conflict. And you lack identity, maybe no boundaries, overwhelmed, and codependent. I think what all of those trigger is the need to create safer and profound boundaries. And for me, I know that when this was all going on, that was a new muscle to strengthen. And I want to tell you a story. Years ago, when I was, going through coaching training and having more required, education to do what I was doing, I took a course with this really profound woman about meditation, because I'm not the best meditator, because I don't seem to be able to quiet my brain enough, or I thought I couldn't. And so one of the beginning of the course, it was over 21 days, and a little commercial for the upcoming Divorcing Intact coaching group. We will be doing coaching for a month, 2 times. We'll meet live 2 times over that course of 21, 28 days. And it's really important, because over the course of those days, when you start shifting and doing new routines, or shifting the way you do your self-care, you are creating a new neural net and quieting the fight or flight response within your brain. So we all know that you have a logical and an emotional side of your brain. And when you are triggered, like when that email used to ding in and I would see my ex-husband's name on it, literally, I would feel the release in my body of that fight or flight. And I didn't have the skills then to self-soothe myself enough to quiet that. So getting back to this amazing lady, so I kind of went into this septic, a little like cynical, maybe. I'm not sure if that's the right word. But the first thing she asked us to do, and I'm going to ask you to do this morning, is write down the answers to these 2 questions. A feeling you'd like to feel more of. What is a feeling that you would like to feel more of right now in your current situation or circumstances? And a feeling that you would like to feel less of. And part of my OCD that was going on at that time, I was like, well, what are we going to do about that? What are we going to, why is that important right now? But I really encourage you just to write those 2 feelings, a feeling you'd like to feel more of, a feeling you'd like to feel less of, and write them down, maybe put them on a card, or, put them someplace that you could see them, park them someplace. And then over the course of the 21 days, she had us write 3 times, I love and accept myself. And, I was like, oh, this is going to be fine. This is awesome. That's a Louise Hay affirmation. If you don't know her, she's a leader in the mind, body, soul, health. And she wrote, you can heal your body. And that is one of her, affirmations. I love and accept myself. And fast forwarding a little bit, I started working with Dr. Diana Kirshner, and in her book, she added, and I'm entitled to miracles. So the affirmation for the next 21 days, and I'm really hoping that you would write that down within a journal and start a new journal. I love and accept myself, and I'm entitled to miracles. Because I remember, you know, back then in the middle of everything, that it wasn't easy to be in a sense of love and acceptance for myself, or have the vision or the forethought to think that something miraculous was going to change this situation, because it's so dense, it's so heavy, it's so encompassing. So I want you to just give yourself that time. I have some clients that, and I speak about this a lot because this is really the fuel to shift internally for you to start seeing yourself a little bit differently in a profound sense of self love. I was a preschool teacher. I had my own preschool for 10 years. I took care of 51 children a day. My mission on this earth was to shepherd and care for children. And going through my high conflict divorce, I was the target of being told I was not a fit mother. I was not, a good co parent. And it went to the heart of who I was. And it's rattling. And I'm sorry if you're experiencing that too, because, that's one of the go-to, parent alienation, parent influencing or parent interfering. So how do you reconnect after such a long period of time of maybe being told terrible, nasty things all about you, and forgetting and being in those fight or flight, fawn or freeze ways? So I wrote that on my sticky notes. I'm the queen of sticky notes. And I put it on my mirror in my bathroom. I wrote it 3 times every day, and it shifted. I have some clients who say to me, Kristen, I just did this because you asked me to. I just did it. I really didn't think it was going to help. And in those moments, you are creating a reservoir of fortitude and persistence, because we're playing a long game. This is a high conflict divorce, goes on and on. And I wish someone had said that to me, because I was not prepared for that. So your first little tool would be to commit to do that for the next 21 days. I love and accept myself, and I'm entitled to miracles. I wonder how that feels for you. I wonder how that lands for you when you say that. And I take a minute right now and say it out loud. I wonder how your heart feels. Does it feel uncomfortable? Is it, something that you're disassociated from? I love and accept myself, and I'm entitled to miracles. I actually made it my lock screen on my phone and wrote it every day for 21 days. So the next topic I wanted to, and then we only have a little bit today, but the next topic I wanted to really talk about was, what was my go-to consistent. Oh, I'm going to look at quotes in a minute, but comments, but I know it's so foreign after being told for how long you were that you were entitled, because like we said during Divorcing Intact, everything is theirs. Nothing is yours. I understand that feeling, that disassociation, that you can't think that you're entitled because of being told you're not. And part of what I've learned over working with so many people is that it really does take a group of us to get through this. And I want you to know that I understand. I hear I hear that. It's hard to believe that I'm entitled to anything. It is, because you were made to believe that. But that's not the truth. That's not who you are. That's not the truth. So I really encourage you to 15 minutes a day to devote to yourself, to reconnect to that part that was always there. What I know is that when you find yourself within this kind of relationship, it wasn't an accident, because people who are high performing, empathetic, giving, nurturing, loving are the targets of this kind of relationship. And because that's not in, your perception, or that you would think that someone who was supposed to be, you know, a partner, a true love, a, a a co-conspirator in life, a co-creator, would hurt you so bad. That betrayal. And what you need to know is that you are doing everything that you need to do to take care of yourself and your children. And it's one foot in front of the other. You are entitled. You are loved. You are accepted. You are entitled. You are. You are enough. I would really, really hope that you would just sprinkle this into your day and kind of fake it until you make it. Maybe you don't feel that way right now. I had another experience. I experienced infertility to create our family. And what I did was I put something that represented my future. So there's a lot of support that you can get. And, a therapist is really important too, maybe right now. And a therapist is really like the past and just this present moment. But through coaching, it's more about this present moment and envisioning the future. The more you could feel those feelings that you want to feel more of, and less of the feelings that you don't want to feel right now, is like your fuel to your future. So let me get to one more strategy I want to talk about. I'm going to be gifting, and I'm going to put this right here, and then you'll get it in the follow-up email. But this is a complimentary copy of Divorcing with Grace. And during that time, I would say, mercy, please, mercy, just send me mercy. And this is really the system I used and still do. Some days, one's stronger than the other, but during that time, I really didn't dream. I had my head down trying to protect my family, move through this time, do it in this balancing act kind of way. And I had paused my dreams. It was really fight or flight, working 3 jobs, trying to get my children through school, taking care of everything as a single mom. So it was so opposite of who I was, at 22 when I opened my own business. I was like this type A kind of girl who opened her own business, was the president of the chamber, had her own house, was able to make things happen, and then found myself in this horrific kind of place. So what are your dreams? If you had unlimited talent, time, support from your family and friends, what would you dream to do? And I will really ask you to write that down later. Download Divorcing and Grace and really think about it, and pick the top 3. Pick the top 3 that you're really hoping for. Mine at that time were really about emotional health, really, finding some place within me to reconnect to that spark. It's not gone. It's just, you know, buried a little bit. And then, so give yourself that envisioning moment. If you decide to join the ongoing coaching group that's starting in May, and why I picked one right away is because Mother's Day can be tough. That whole month can be tough. So it's going to start in May, and there is a little bit of an application that you fill out just for me to make sure that our group is, you know, a- about the same time and the same place to support each other. So through Divorcing in Grace, you'll do your dreams list again. And then you'll do a goals from that. And then every day you do a daily nurturing moment. So I talk about this all the time, and I'm sorry if you heard me say it before, but I have this cheap $18.99 milk frother from Target, and literally every morning I get up super early. I warm up my milk in the microwave, I froth it, and I have my coffee. I journal, I write my affirmation, and then I start the day. And I am really funky if I don't do that. If I don't give myself that moment to connect within. So it's your dreams list, your goals, your daily nurturing, and a gratitude list. I can admit I struggle with the gratitude list, and I really some days, don't do it. And some days do it and then fall back in love with it. But the daily gratitude list is something you can do practically, writing it down or saying it out loud. And then to set your intention. I know that for me, it was really mentally remuneration about over and over again about, especially if there was a court date coming up, the fear and how I went about managing that was really, the gratitude list. And every morning when I wake up, I put my feet on the floor and I just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I incorporated self-care and reconnection to my heart practically. How can I do things that it's not another thing I feel I need to do? So I'm going to go through a little meditation. This is not kind of what I had scheduled, but it's just kind of moving me. When I'm in the shower, I take a moment to connect in. I put my hand in my heart and I envision the water coming down as white, pure light that washes away anything that I feel is stuck, heavy energy. I just take a moment and let that wash over me, puddle at my feet, and go down into Mother Earth. And Mother Earth, divine mother energy, is what we are all using to get through this. We are in a patriarchal, I'm going to say, men-driven system in the courts. So the more you can connect and empower that divine feminine self. Sorry about that. Someone's texting me instead of commenting. um, the more powerful you are. So how do you do that? Just take a moment. Incorporate that in your day. Imagine that you're being bathed in that beautiful white or purple or whatever light you see that takes this away. And then the second step is to pull that earth energy up. Pull it up and let it come up through your system and out your crown. So I know that right now it feels wobbly and you might feel like, you're totally depleted, but these little small 15-minute changes have a profound long-term carry-over effect. I promise. I promise that. The other thing that I was surprised when I was getting ready to pop on and we're coming to the end is this prayer. And I'm going to send it right now in the comments. It's not a prayer, it's a meditation, but I called it a prayer. It's the meta meditation. And when I was triggered and when I felt myself being so angry or upset, this is what I said for myself. May I be happy. May I be free from stress and pain. May I be free from animosity, free from trouble, free from oppression. May I look after myself with ease. And then for others, which is kind of tricky, but may you be happy. May you be free from stress and pain. May you be free from animosity, free from trouble, free from oppression, and may you look after yourself with ease. So that also became one of my tools I used before I went to bed, because I found myself stuck in the energy that I was receiving, in the anger, in the increasing anger, in the slander, in the campaign of, other people flying monkeys. And I found myself still corded to that, energetically corded to that. And that meditation is beaming out to the universe that, may I be happy. May I be free from stress and pain. May I be free from animosity, free from trouble, free from oppression, and may I look after myself with ease. It shifts. It melts that protective armor on your heart that is blocking you from feeling not entitled to those feelings. That was a very quick half an hour, and I feel like I was a fire hose just throwing things at you. But if you decide to continue and be in the group, it's going to be different. Right now, I offered this reconnection, and there is people on here, but I don't have permission for you to speak to each other, and I didn't have permission for you to, to speak or be shown. That will be different in our upcoming group. In our upcoming group, we will be a group. We will come together. We will have an opportunity to share. We will have an opportunity to learn from each other. I'm just looking for the link for you to be able to, I find all that, but I can't find the link. I will do that right now. But getting back to that, it will be very different. It will not be come together and awfulize together, although we will have moments of that. The intention is to uplift. The intention is to help you have immediate tips and strategies to move through this time together. I want you to be in your future. I want you to be at peace. So feel free to message me right now. Why I'm going to take 1 second and see if I can find that link, which is crazy that I can't right now. I'll give you 1 minute and I'm going to do a recap. I found it. It might say about the infertility group I'm starting, but it's really, I just want to make sure that was the right one. So to recap, your homework, if you choose to accept it, is to start a new journal and write down those 2 feelings. A feeling you like to feel more of, a feeling you like to feel less of, and put that in your journal. And each day over the course of the next 21 to 28 days, I would really hope that you would commit to simply writing down, I love and accept myself, and I'm entitled to miracles. Then, if you want to do more, you can download my gift to you, Divorcing with Grace, which has a guide and I believe a download to house, all these tips and strategies. You're going to do a dreams list, and you might be saying, I don't want to do that, Kristen. I don't have any. Well, I encourage you just to sit for a few minutes or, reach out and I can help you with that. Create 3 goals for the next maybe 6 months or a year, whatever you feel comfortable with. Incorporate 1 daily nurturing item. Set your daily intention, which could be as easy as when your feet hit the floor, say thank you, thank you, thank you. Or something my go-to is, I go through today with grace and ease. I move through this day with peace. Something, it doesn't have to be big and flowery. It's just really like check in, what do I need? And, call that in. So daily nurturing item, gratitude list, and 1 intention. So thank you, everyone. I hope to see and hear from you. I really appreciate feedback. And before you go, I actually would really appreciate, I can't even get back to where I was before, but would you be able to answer some of these questions for me? If you were to be in a group, if you have interest in a group, what day and time would be the best for you? I picked Saturday morning because we did divorcing and tact on a Saturday morning, but I know, I remember the days of having sports events and, activities on Saturday mornings. So I would love for you to know when you would work best for you. I'll have some questions here. I think the first one on the link that I gave you would be Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you could just email me back or send me a message right now, that would really help me to get like a poll of what times and days, and then we could be flexible about that. There is a fee for the group. It's a drop-in fee. You can pay as you go. But this is, there is a fee to this. And I hope you found this helpful. I would love feedback of what topics you would like more about. And I so appreciate you being here. I'm just going to copy the comments to make sure I get back to everybody. All right. Thank you so much. God bless.